Hey everybody, welcome back. Last semester, woo woo. So we're supposed to be talking about certification and licensure, and we were to read from our little yellow guidebook. So I really liked the guidebook that we have for this semester, and in general for starting fresh out of school. Because I was wondering prior to this semester, how in the world were we supposed to navigate all this information, all this new certification stuff, all the applications, negotiating things, and what to expect when doing interviews and things like that. But really, especially all the certification and licensure business. So I'm really glad that the authors decided to create this how-to for students like us. So where I'm doing clinical right now, there is a new graduate midwife, and she's been a really great resource for me to just pick her brain about this whole process and how it works, because she just went through all of it. And she had mentioned to me that it took her, I think she said over 4 months, to go through the credentialing process for her new job. And that's not even including boards and all that, waiting to test and all that stuff. But I am curious if anybody has come across any helpful hints or tips for boards or for studying that your preceptors or others that you know who have come down this road before. Has anybody given suggestions for studying or preparing at all, or said, this is what you can expect with the credentialing process? So I, like others, really love the timeline in this book, and I'll probably definitely use it and just kind of check it off as we go through the different steps this last semester and through the job application process and the whole deal. So I'm curious if any of you started to check things off of the timeline yet. I saw in Liz's video that she mentioned she had already paid for her boards and found out where she could test, which is awesome, because here I thought I was doing a good job to get all my assignments just written down in my calendar book. So I'm hoping to start checking things off as well. I think it's a good idea to get that paid and start kind of looking at what that looks like, getting on and following the steps in the book. So I really would like to do that here soon. Wondering if anybody else has started things on the timeline. And I know some people are even talking about negotiation processes and getting jobs and things like that. So that's awesome. And then Jasmine in her post had asked if anybody would opt for maintaining certification via CEUs or just retaking the exam. So I wanted to mention, kind of in response to that, was that I have seen the method or the articles that they use for the CEUs for midwives. I saw them in clinical when my preceptor was working on them. She kind of showed me what they looked like and the things they had to do. It doesn't sound too awful, so if anybody was wondering about that, I did happen to see those, and they seem like a much better option than retesting. I didn't even know that was a thing, but I can't imagine retaking the test again, so these CEUs definitely seem like a better option. It was just, I think a lot of it was just articles and then answering questions and just basically showing that you had looked through this current evidence and stuff like that, so didn't seem bad at all. And I think the book said that we have to do that every 5 years. So that's interesting. The survival book also mentioned that our final semester should have a course with certain key components in it that includes reviews, etc. And I was happy to mentally check that off the list, because as I was going through the syllabus, I noticed that a lot of the things that are outlined in the book are aligning with what is in our course, and so that was really comforting to know that what it was recommending for review and that your end semester should kind of look like, that a lot of that looked like what was in our syllabus, so that's super awesome. So as far as my 2 questions go, and I'll write these in so you guys can read them too, but as far as licensure goes, is there anybody out there who lives in a state where you do not have to have a collaborating physician to practice? Here, I'm in the state of Illinois, so here we do, and so I'm curious how many of you out there don't even have to worry about that. That sounds really nice, and I would think that would make your licensure and credentialing process much smoother. And I'm also kind of curious how that works with like DEA licensing and stuff like that. If you really are just on your own for that too, with no collaboration. So that's really awesome. We are currently in the state of Illinois, a state where we do have to collaborate with a physician and have someone kind of that we're underneath who accepts that responsibility, I guess. And right now in the state of Illinois, there's a lot of advocacy going on where people are advocating for that to change, and there's a lot of stuff being in the works and working on changing that, and there's word that that may be changing soon in Illinois, but not yet. So right now we still need a collaborating physician. So my second question, I'm also curious what methods you're all planning to use for studying to prepare for the boards, and also how soon is everybody planning to take the boards after graduating. I think I'm probably going to take mine as soon as possible. I'm probably going to use the method of just using review texts and doing self-studying. But I am thinking about going to the ACNM gathering this spring, and so I guess if I am not scheduled to test before then, I might look into doing that live review session too that Jasmine had mentioned. So I think that's what I'm going to do. But anyways, I'm curious to hear what you guys are going to do, and what your thoughts are on licensure and credentialing and all this fun stuff. Thanks for listening, guys.